Sanji's dream is the endgame for the whole series of One Piece, and let me tell you why. Alright, so Sanji's dream is to find the All Blue. What exactly is the All Blue? The All Blue is the rumored sea of legend where the North Blue, South Blue, East Blue, and West Blue all meet together, and Sanji set out on his journey to find this legendary sea. And if we look at a map of One Piece, we see the four seas, the Grand Line, which is the gigantic sea route that circles around the planet, and then the only landmass that goes from one end of the world to the other, which is the Red Line. And you know what the funny thing about the Red Line is? It's where the Celestial Dragons and Mary Joie is. Now you might be asking, how does Sanji's dream coincide with the end goal for One Piece? Well, Sanji's dream is to find the All Blue where every sea meets, and the Red Line is the only landmass that is separating all the seas. So this is where it gets crazy. So what if the Celestial Dragons were the ones who created the Red Line and it's not just a natural land mass occurrence? The Celestial Dragons always thought they were better than everyone else and want to separate themselves from the rest of society. They're the only people we know of who are actually living on top of the Red Line. Now let's just switch gears for a little bit and talk about the Void Century. So the Void Century is a 100-year time gap where it's erased from history. No one knows what's happened during the Void Century, and the government and Celestial Dragons never want anyone to know what it actually is. So if the world government doesn't want us to know, and if the Celestial Dragons don't want us to know, then there can be a lot of evidence supporting that during this century is when they created the Red Line. And before you guys talk about if it's plausible to actually even do it, with the introduction of God Zoan fruits, there has to be other God variation of fruits. So Akainu with his lava fruit or magma fruit, what if he has an awakening that turns into like a god deity and he can just create land masses? What I'm trying to say is I don't think the Red Line is a natural occurring land. I think it was created by a celestial dragon who had a similar ability to Akainu where he could make land forms. And if you think about that in this sense, it makes a lot more sense that this whole Red Line theory can tie back to the Void Century, because no one ever believed the Marines. We never believed they were the good guys. And especially after seeing the Celestial Dragons and that they had this code to protect them no matter what, we all knew that they were corrupt. And this could be the thing that they were hiding, that the Red Line wasn't a natural occurring landmass, and it was created by them to separate themselves from the rest of the world. And with Joy Boy, the original Joy Boy, he was part of the faction that was rebelling against the Marines and the Celestial Dragons, but in some way he lost, and the Celestial Dragons wiped out history, and that's why we have the Void Century, and that's why they're so protective of anyone learning about what they did and their misdeeds. So let's connect this back to Luffy. So Luffy said that being Pirate King means being the freest person in the world. The Red Line is the exact opposite of freedom. And if you think of it like that, and with Luffy becoming Joy Boy recently, his whole idea is about freedom. And this is what the Celestial Dragons are afraid of. And that's why Joy Boy was their biggest enemy, because he was the fighter of freedom. The Celestial Dragons and the Navy wanted complete control over this world. But Joy Boy and his descendants wanted to bring about freedom, true freedom, where everyone was equal and could do whatever they wanted. And even though Joy Boy lost originally, and that's why the Celestial Dragons and Marines are in power right now, I believe he left these weapons, the three ancient weapons, so that we could destroy the Red Line. I feel like he lost his initial fight, but was there whenever the Celestial Dragons and the Marines created the Red Line. And before Joy Boy passed away, he discovered three weapons that they can use to break the Red Line eventually. And those weapons are Pluton, Poseidon, and Uranus. Pluton, we know, is a giant battleship that is hidden underneath Wano, and Poseidon is Shirahoshi, and she can control all the Sea Kings. And with Uranus, we're still waiting to learn what it is. What we know from Joy Boys is, with the first Joy Boy, and now with this second one in Luffy, the main goal at the end of the day is freedom, and the Red Line and the Celestial Dragons are the obstacles standing in the way of that freedom. And now when we consider all of these factors, the earlier stuff from One Piece starts to make sense. What I'm talking about is the prophecy that was given to Luffy on Fishman Island, where he is the man who's going to destroy Fishman Island. And in a way, that is actually very accurate, because if you look at the map, Fishman Island is underneath the red line. The end of the series, we're going to see them destroy the red line, and when that happens, all the rubble is going to destroy Fishman Island. They're going to have to rebuild somewhere else or use Shirahoshi's power to block all the debris, or at least drag Fishman Island away. But at the end of the day, Luffy's going to be the one to cause destruction for this island. But in doing so, it's going to unite all the oceans of the world and creates the All Blue. Sanji's goal lines up perfectly with the final war for One Piece, the war of pirates versus the government. And at the end of the war, we'll get the destruction of the Red Line and the All Blue, which Sanji's been looking for since the beginning of the series. I'm so excited to see how Oda's going to spin this, if my theory is going to be true, or if he's going to completely go in a different direction that we weren't expecting, and that's what makes it so much fun. But I think I nailed it. I think my theory works out pretty well. But let me know what you guys think about my theory in the comments below, if you guys agree with it or not. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.